The movie begins with a car navigating a desolate, hilly terrain and eventually arriving at a remote hotel. A man named Jack has come to work as the hotel's caretaker and has a meeting with the management. The hotel manager shares a chilling tale of the previous caretaker who succumbed to mental illness and committed a horrifying act, ending his own life along with his twin sisters and wife. The hotel alternates between being open and closed due to snow. Despite the unsettling story, Jack accepts the job, and we are introduced to his son Danny. Danny converses with an imaginary friend named Tony, who warns him against going to the hotel. Tony shows Danny disturbing images, including blood and the twin girls, leaving Danny frightened. His mother reveals to a doctor that Jack once angrily fractured Danny's arm, leading to his reliance on the imaginary friend. Jack and his family eventually arrive at the hotel, where they meet the chef and receive crucial information. The chef communicates with Danny telepathically, revealing that people with this ability are referred to as the Shinings, and that there are others like them. Danny confides in the chef about Tony and inquires about the mysterious room number 237, causing the chef to react with alarm and warn him to stay away. As time passes, Danny and his mother explore the vast garden, while Jack's behavior undergoes a gradual transformation within the hotel. Jack's wife notices the change in his demeanor, sensing that he is no longer the same person he was before taking the job. Later, while playing with toys, Danny follows a rolling ball back to room number 237. Number 237. Inside, he encounters the twin sisters, who invite him to play with them forever and ever and ever. Terrified, Danny shuts his eyes, causing the twins to vanish. A month passes with the family isolated in the snow-covered hotel, devoid of other visitors. Danny, concerned for his safety and his mother's, asks his father if he will ever harm them. Jack reassures him and expresses his love. Later, while playing with toys, Danny follows a rolling ball back to room number 237. The door is now open, but his calls for his mother go unanswered. Meanwhile, Danny's mother is occupied in the kitchen, managing tasks usually handled by Jack, who has been consumed by his writing. She hears Jack scream in his sleep and rushes to his side. He describes a horrifying dream in which he brutally murdered his wife and son, leaving them in pieces. Danny arrives traumatized, with torn clothes and facial marks bearing the emotional scars of a terrifying encounter. In this chilling tale, Danny's mother confronts him about a troubling incident, but Danny remains silent. Suspicion falls on Jack, who has been acting strangely. Danny's mother becomes convinced that Jack is responsible, as there are no other witnesses. She berates Jack and leaves in anger. Jack, increasingly unhinged, confides in a bartender about his wife's illness and her impact on him. Suddenly, Danny's mother rushes into the room, only to find the bartender has vanished, revealing a supernatural presence. She informs Jack that they are not alone, and a malevolent lady resides in room number 237, who has harmed Danny. Jack ventures into room number 237, encountering a girl who transforms into an old lady, confirming her ghostly nature. Terrified, Jack flees and locks the room. Meanwhile, a chef at a distant location senses something amiss and calls the police due to his telepathic connection with Danny. Attempts to reach Jack's family fail due to severed phone lines and a damaged radio, as Jack descends into madness. The chef rushes to the hotel. Back at the hotel, tensions rise as Danny's mother suggests leaving, angering Jack, who prioritizes his writing. He confronts the bartender once more and discovers a ghostly party in progress, realizing all the guests are apparitions. A butler's mishap leads to a conversation with Jack, who recognizes him as the previous caretaker who had committed suicide. The butler recounts his family's tragic fate, implicating Danny as needing help through telepathy. Jack is manipulated into believing he must kill his wife and son. Meanwhile, Danny's mother, armed with a baseball bat, searches for Jack and finds him in a room where he has been obsessively typing a single phrase. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. For a month, a shocking revelation of his descent into madness. Meanwhile, Jack stealthily approaches from behind, his demeanor growing increasingly aggressive upon spotting the scene before him. Danny's mother observes his actions, perplexed by his sudden interest in the work he had spent days on. She wonders why he's perusing the very pages he had been tirelessly working on. As Jack's behavior becomes increasingly erratic and threatening, Danny's mother senses the impending danger he poses. She takes action, wielding the baseball bat she had at hand, and strikes him on the head, causing him to lose consciousness. Seizing the opportunity, she locks Jack in a storeroom. As Jack gradually regains consciousness within the confined space, he realizes he's trapped. Meanwhile, Danny's mother remains resolute, informing Jack that she and Danny will be leaving. In response, Jack inexplicably bursts into laughter and insists that they won't be able to go anywhere. To prove his point, Jack directs her attention to the radio and car outside, both of which are stranded in the snow, heavily damaged. She rushes to inspect the car, finding it in a state of disrepair, with no means of communication available due to the damaged radio. Frustrated and concerned, Danny's mother retreats to her room to rest, with Danny following her, holding a knife. It becomes apparent that Danny is not himself, but is embodying a different personality named Tony. Disturbingly, Danny repeatedly utters the word redrum. Hearing this, his mother awakens and notices in the room's mirror that murder is written on the door, but when she looks directly at the door, it reads redrum. It becomes clear that Danny had been warning them of danger all along. Meanwhile, Jack is shown engaging in a conversation with the caretaker, a ghostly figure. The ghost admonishes Jack for failing to fulfill his responsibilities, to which Jack pleads for another chance. The door then opens, revealing Jack holding an axe, intent on breaking into the room where Danny and his mother are. Simultaneously, Danny's mother attempts to guide Danny out of the washroom through a small window. While Danny successfully escapes, she remains stuck due to the window's size. Jack, having broken through the door, relentlessly pursues her. Armed with the knife he gave her earlier, Danny's mother defends herself and fights back. Amidst the struggle, the sound of a car approaching from outside interrupts the confrontation. It's the chef who has come to assist Danny. Hearing the car, Jack abandons his pursuit of Danny's mother and goes after the chef. In the hotel's hallway, Jack brutally kills the chef with his axe. Following the murder, Jack resumes his pursuit of Danny, who has ventured outside into the snow. Danny, aware of Jack's pursuit, cleverly erases his footprints and hides. Jack follows Danny's tracks and calls out his name. Meanwhile, Danny's mother, trembling with fear, finds herself in the hotel's lobby, where she encounters numerous unsettling apparitions. Overwhelmed by terror, she escapes from the hotel. Outside, Danny rejoins his mother at a familiar table where they had spent time together. Realizing that Jack had not previously visited this location, while Jack continues to search for him, calling his name. Finally, Danny and his mother manage to escape in the car that the chef arrived in, leaving the frozen and lost Jack behind. In the bitter cold, Jack meets his demise, succumbing to the elements. Thus, the movie ends. The Shining, released in 1980. Directed by Stanley Kubrick, produced on a budget of approximately $19 million. While the film's story takes place at the fictional Overlook Hotel, the exterior shots of the hotel were of the Timberline Lodge on Mount Hood in Oregon. However, most of the indoor scenes were filmed in sound stages in England. Jack Nicholson's iconic line, "Here's Johnny," was improvised. It's a reference to Johnny Carson's introduction on The Tonight Show. Kubrick utilized the then-new Steadicam technology for the film's groundbreaking tracking shots, especially evident in the scenes where young Danny rides his tricycle through the hallways of the Overlook Hotel. The film is based on the novel of the same name by Stephen King. However, King has famously been critical of the film adaptation, as he felt that Kubrick's version didn't capture the essence of his book. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications and leave a like to help the channel out.